having space to operate in helps teachers. Not only are the classrooms about 40% larger than old classrooms, but every teacher has their own classroom. There's not a sharing that goes on, which can make it difficult for the people that have to travel between classroom to classroom. But also we have the neighborhood areas, which have small group space available where teachers can send kids to make-up tests, teachers can have small group interventions. There's a lot of different kinds of projects that could go on in the neighborhoods. And also within the media center, there's extra space there for the same kinds of things. So I think one of the biggest advantages of the new building educationally is the space.
My new classroom space is so large, and instead of 5 kitchens with 4 people per kitchen, I now have 8 kitchens, so that I can have 4 kitchens with 3 students in and 4 kitchens with 2 students in. This is better for students learning. They have more to do in a recipe, so they're learning more of the concepts that were demonstrated to them the day before. Whereas before, they're knocking around and falling into each other. There's not enough for 4 students to work on in a recipe. I've only been in the new building for 7 weeks. Things are going very smoothly, and I anticipate when I get into the sewing unit for it to be working the same way. I have much more space, and the counters that I have in my new kitchens are going to allow me more room for students.
New things that have made teaching art easier or better. I think there's quite a few things. One is the space. The space is wonderful, and we have more space. So we're kind of spreading out into different places. The art department has 3 rooms where we didn't have that before. The dark room is a real dark room, which I've never had. It's always been jerry-rigged kind of closets. Well, now we have a for real dark room, and that's how they keep reminding myself that this is really cool. I think another interesting thing about the space is, for the first time, the special subjects, the non-core subjects, are all concentrated sort of in one end of the building. We're close to each other. I think I have seen the computer teacher and the home ec teacher more in the last few weeks than I have in 15 years that I've worked here, because we're closer together and we can actually communicate for a change.
The new building facility, what's been added since we moved from the old building to the new building, is additional space for our video technology program. It's phenomenal compared to where we came from. And this year, they provided us with a wonderful facility that has good height. We've got an overhead rack system where we can hang whatever we want to hang. We have overhead lighting, which it's really a bonus. And the technology room, the computer room, is of about equal size of what we had before, but it also provides an extra space for sound recording, which we didn't have in the other facility. And I think the other thing is the location. We're located near the elevator, so we can get our equipment up and down if we need to for remote productions.
In the design phase, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make the school energy efficient. And you may have noticed that in the different classrooms, there are reset buttons which give us the ability to restore the lights, because we control all that by computer, so that in order to save electricity costs, so that everything goes down at a particular time, which we can program by computer.
A couple of those are number one, the stone that we used in the hallway is a relatively new product to this campus, and it's a product that requires no painting of the interior walls, and is one that allows this to be a virtually maintenance-free application. Also, we used a new air conditioning system that will save energy, and really is a system that will be one that will save the district a lot of money over a long period of time. what it does, it takes advantage of the lower energy rates during the evenings to create ice, which is then used to cool the buildings during the day. So it's really probably the most productive, efficient system that there is, and it will be one that will save a lot of money for a long period of time. Part of the project that was probably the most difficult was the site work, and that was done the first year during construction. A couple of things caused, that challenge. One was the sheer amount of work that we had to do in a compressed period of time. The other issue that came up was the year that we did that was the wettest summer that we had had in 20 years. So the sheer volume of rain that actually occurred in July really delayed a lot of the work that should have been completed during that time period.
When we were in year 2000, when we were preparing the site and doing the soccer field and doing the driveway system, we had terrible floods and rains that summer, and that part of the project didn't really get finished until November, and then we had some problems with the soccer field and essentially had to redo that the following year. So that would be the biggest example of something that took longer than expected.